So today, in this short session, we'll do a short presentation of the actual software, latest software, a background of AfiMilk for those that don't know the history of the company, our standalone software offering, the live AfiCollar demo, which is actual data taken from a live farm, which Yoni can show us around. And to end will be a Q&A session. A couple of pointers for tonight. There is a chat function for those of you wanting to ask questions as we move through the presentation. That will be on the bottom of your screen if you're watching on a desktop, and if you're on a mobile, it's, I believe, 3 dots. Please send any questions to Danny. Danny will present the questions at the end of the presentation. Also, another pointer, this webinar is being recorded, just for everybody to know. Move on, please, Yoni. About AfiMilk. So founded in 1977 in the kibbutz of Afikim over in Israel, where HQ still is. There are 7 countries with regional offices now throughout the world. We cover pretty much most of the milk field in the world. The offices are there in Israel, of course, the US, China, the UK, Russia, New Zealand, and now Argentina. We're a relatively modest company of 250 employees, of which literally a third of the employees are research and development. So ongoing research and development of products is huge in AfiMilk, which keeps us at the forefront of the industry. Please, Yoni. Yeah, a little bit about AfiMilk's products there. Some will be familiar to you. 1979 saw the first ICAR approved milk meter developed by AfiMilk. That has continued to be developed up to the what we see the MPC, which is still that's what's being used currently today. 1983 saw the intervention of the first management software, AfiFarm. Of course, AfiFarm is still huge in development today, and a massive management program used throughout the world, and literally some of the biggest herds in the world. 1984, the first heat detection system, the pedometer, still being produced and still incredibly popular throughout the world. 2008 saw the introduction of the AfiLab. This is an inline milk analyzer that analyzes fat, protein, and lactose. It runs alongside the milk meter and gives inline on-time analysis of those components to highlight ketosis, further mastitis detection, and benefits for feed to yield. 2020 saw the introduction of the AfiCollar, a huge introduction for AfiMilk as a company, and incredibly popular. It's grown massively over the last 2 short years, and is literally one of our main products to this year. So this is why we're featuring the webinar tonight. Just last year saw the introduction of the AfiCloud, and that is the cloud backup for all 5.5 software users. And we've got apps as well in the background of Cockpit today, and the backup being the AfiCloud. And as I said, 2022 is still continuing the innovation with all of the research and development. A lot of new benefits and features coming through, especially to do with the health management on the AfiCollar, which I hope is why you all join us this evening. So without further ado, I hand you over to Yoni,
Thank you very much, Stevie. Okay, and thanks for your introduction on the company, on AfiMilk, a bit about AfiFarm. And thank you all. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us at this time of the evening. I'm sure most of you have been after a long day of working, and thank you again. We all appreciate it that you have joined us, and I'll try and make this as quick and short so you'll be able to get and to understand the benefits and the features and values when we're talking about the AfiCollar. Like Stevie said in the beginning, please feel free to enter questions along the presentation and the explanation on the AfiCollar and send them to Danny, and we will try to answer all your questions towards the end. We will leave time to answer questions, and if we aren't able to answer all your questions, we for sure will get back to you personally and answer any questions. So let's start our journey in understanding and seeing what our AfiCollar can do. So first of all, I just want to give a bit of a description and understanding on what we see. This is on the right side of the screen. This is the AfiCollar. We've got the strap, the belt. We've got the weight on the bottom that holds it down. And here we have the main brain, I would say, of the collar. This is what we call, this is a 3D accelerometer, which is monitoring, listening to the cow's behavior. We position it under the ear. That's where we position the accelerometer. And by listening and monitoring and analyzing, I would say, the cow's behavior, we then take all of this information that's coming from the collar and we present it to the farmer in different features. So, of course, when the cows have the collar on and the collars are attached, and we start receiving information. So one of the features, and we'll go into them as we go on with this presentation, the first feature, and this is, of course, one of the main features that we are monitoring and we are detecting, is what we call timed heat detection. So when the cow is in heat, she will enter into the software onto our mobile, and we will give you an exact time of heat detection, and I'll explain a bit about it as we go on and how we detect heat and what information we present and we give to you as the farmer. In addition to heat detection, which is done by the motion, the activity of the cow, we've also have two additional parameters that we are monitoring through the accelerometer, which is rumination time and eating time. And these two parameters that we are monitoring and we are presenting and showing you, the rumination time and eating time, we use them for what we call health management. By detecting the changes in the rumination time, eating time, each one separately or together, if there is a change in them, then we alert the farmer, and I'll show you how and how it's presented. And we use these two parameters for detecting cows with a health problem or a tension that need to be taken care of. In addition to that, we're also not only monitoring the individual cow, we also monitor the group behavior using rumination and eating time. So if there is a change in the group behavior, if there's a decrease in rumination or eating in one of the groups, this is also an alert that we will show the farmers. In addition, when we're talking about group reports, and I'll get into it later on and show you how we show and how we present it, we're also added on a third, I would say fourth parameter, which we call heat stress. This is based on the cow's panting. Okay, when a cow is in a heat stress, all right, and there is a heat stress in the group, we will bring a report that is called group heat stress. And if the cows are in heat stress, if they're in the pasture or in the barn and they're in heat stress, you'll be alerted and you'll be able to cool them down. This feature is very common, especially, I'll give you an example, in Israel and in countries which is very hot. We will use this feature for alerting the farmer and I will say giving the farmer an option to monitor the heat stress and monitor the cow's heat and cool them down based on these parameters. All this information that's coming from the collars goes into our ABC. We call this ABC dashboard. This is what we call the AfiFarm 5.5 software. And I will show it to you, and I will explain a bit about the software, but all the information is coming from the collars. It goes into the ABC dashboard, and also in additional to the software, we have a mobile app, which is called AfiToGo Prime. This is our mobile app, which I will show you a few slides around the mobile app, but all the information that we receive on the ABC dashboard, you will be able to see also on your mobile app. And again, and another thing is that the collar is also used for IDing. So for example, if a farmer wants a sort gate, okay, together with the collars, you can connect if you've got your own sort gate, or if you want to add a sort gate, a draft gate, onto the standalone AfiCollar, then the collar itself also does ID. So it will ID the cow, identify the cow in the sort gate, and then it can be used for sorting cows. Just to give a bit of technical and a bit of idea what we have with the collar, the storage of the information in the collar is more than 48 hours. So for example, if their cow was not in range, or the reader didn't read the cow's information, the collar itself will storage the information inside the accelerometer for at least more than 48 hours. The collar is allocated to a cow through the mobile app with what we call an NFC technology. So there's no need to enter numbers and click numbers into anything. By scanning your phone on the collar, automatically the collar number will be allocated to the cow. And this is also something that we expect the battery life to be much more than 5 years. We give warranty, and there is different, I would say there are different levels of warranty, and you can get this information from Danny and Stevie as later on, but the warranty and the life expectancy of the collar should be more than 5 years, and I say much more than 5 years. To explain a bit about, just to give a quickly look on how the collar works, the collar stores the information, sends the information into our reader that is positioned outside. We position the reader outside in a barn, in a yard, in an area where it can receive all the information from the collar. And when the collar is in range of the reader, the collar sends all the information to the reader, and the reader downloads all this information, hourly information, into the software and also into our mobile app. So wherever you are in the farm, or you're at home, or you're not sitting in front of the computer, also all the information and all the data coming from the collars, you will see straight away presented on the AfiToGo Prime, which is our mobile app. And just to show you quickly a few shots or a few screenshots on our mobile app before we get into the AfiFarm software. So this is the mobile app. We call it a paperless farm, meaning that the farmer doesn't need to write everything on the paper and then go and enter the information into the software. Everything he'll be able to see on his mobile. So for example, on the mobile, you will see the number of cows for insemination, cows that need treatment, different scheduled tasks, different tasks. All of this is on your mobile, and everything that is on the software is also presented on the mobile. So you can go and look at everything straight away from the AfiToGo Prime. And just to show an example, when a cow is on for insemination, this is a cow card where we see her information on insemination. And when we inseminate the cow, we just click the cow is inseminated, confirm, and done. I mean, it's very quick, 5 seconds just to enter the event onto the AfiToGo Prime, and automatically it's uploaded into the software. Okay, so this is the mobile app. This is what we call the AfiToGo Prime. And of course, this is part of the AfiFarm 5.5 standalone software, which comes together with our mobile app. So let's go into the software, into the 5.5 AfiFarm. And the idea is that when we're bringing in the information from the collar, we present it to you on a dashboard. This is the dashboard, and I will show later on when we connect to the demo. I will show it even get into a bit more details, but just to give you an overview, the overview is that this is your dashboard. This is where all the information is coming in. When a cow sends in information, these reports and these sections are updated automatically, are refreshed all the time, and you will see lists and attention lists for cows that need your attention or your treatment. The dashboard is divided up into sections. One section is a section where fertility, which we'll get into a bit of details in a minute, where we have our list for animals for insemination and other fertility reports related to fertility for you to have a look at. Health, which we will also talk about in a minute, where here we have under the health section reports related to health, if it's for the individual cow or for a group detection. Like I said, the group digestion, group heat stress, that will be under the health. And in addition to the reports with sensors, with analyzing the information coming from the sensors, we also have defined reports that help the farm, that help you manage your farm. For example, you can have a list for cows to dry today, where here you'll have a prepared list, and when you need to dry the cows, you will get a list and it will bring you the number of cows that are for dry, cows that are expected to calve. You'll get a list of the cows that are expected to calve. If you've got if you need to scan the cows, you've inseminated and you've got the vet coming for scanning for pregnancy check, then you'll also have a list for pregnancy check. And like we said in the beginning, you can connect a sort gate. If you've got a sort gate, then we can connect to your sort gate. Or if you want to purchase a sort gate, we also have a sort animals report, and these will be your cows that are waiting for you after being sorted. So like I said, the AfiFarm is not only for detecting cows, or as we call it, a cow monitoring software. It's also a herd management software. You can manage your herd. We can design reports. We can design many personalized, I would say, reports, and also analyze results. And all of this is in the AfiFarm software. In addition, the last section on the dashboard will be animals inventory, where here we have your number of animals in AfiFarm divided up into different categories. If she's pregnant, how many are pregnant, how many are open, how many are dry, and we have a tab for cows and a tab for heifers. In the middle section of the dashboard, we have the animals for insemination report. Okay, but I will explain about it now, and we'll go into it more in details in a minute. So when we go into the fertility section, here we can see the animals for insemination report. Next to each report that we have in the fertility area, there will be a number. And this means that under animals for insemination, we have 5 cows that were detected in heat and are ready for insemination. Okay, again, an additional, we have a suspected abortion report. Cows that are pregnant. Okay, you got cows pregnant and they are showing heat signs, they will appear under the suspected abortion. Here, for example, on this farm, there aren't any cows suspected abortion. Okay, and anestrus, these are cows that haven't showed heat signs yet, and maybe they need to be treated with hormones or synchronization, but these are again under the fertility section. Okay, and when we go into the animals for insemination report, it opens up a report and a graph with information on the cows that were detected in heat. So just to go over it quickly, you've got the list of cows. All right, here's the cow's number. Here is their status and their group number in AfiFarm, their status, the gynecologist status, if they've been inseminated, if they're fresh, number of lactation, number of insemination, age. This is mainly for heifers, because if we can have collars also on heifers, okay, we want to know what age she is before we inseminate her. And of course, days in milk. Then we know how many days in milk, if she's past her voluntary waiting period, or how many days in milk. These is all information coming in from the software. And days after heat or after insemination. So we know if she's in cycle, if she's early cycling, and this is general information on the cow. Now we get to the part where the collar is sending in the information and the cow was detected in heat. We have what we call a heat indicator parameter. And when the cow passes a threshold of the heat indicator, this is when the cow enters the report. She enters the report, and once she enters the report, we open up a fertility window. This is a window where we recommend the timing of insemination. So we're not just telling the farm, we're not just telling you when the cow started her heat or she finished her heat. We're opening for each cow based on when she started her heat signs. We are recommending a fertility window or a best timing for insemination, meaning that if we inseminate the cow in the fertility window, we will get higher conception rate. And this fertility window is like you can see here on the bottom. In a graph, this is the cow behavior or the cow activity. She started her heat signs, and we open up a bullseye with the fertility window. And when the cow comes into the report, the closer she comes to the middle of the bullseye, to the dark purple area, this is exactly the fertility window, and this is the recommendation on best timing for insemination. If we inseminate her in the light purple area, this is what we call moderate conception rate. And when she's early, too early, or too late, this is what we call low conception rate. So because we are detecting each cow individually, for each cow, we will give the farm, we will show you the best time for insemination. So in many cases, if you inseminate in the morning and in the afternoon, you can decide the best timing of insemination based on your insemination time on the farm. Okay, so again, we have the fertility window. It's an 8-hour window for best timing of insemination. So again, not only when she started her insemination, when she started her heat sign, we will also tell you and recommend the best time for insemination. And I will show you later on when we go into the demo how it looks like on in the real farm. Okay, but this is just the idea of our animals for insemination report. And I'll just say that the same information we see here is like we saw on our mobile app. You will also have a window with the fertility window on your mobile app. So you'll be able to see also, not only on the computer, you will also be able to see it on the Afi2Go Prime on our mobile app. Okay, so like I said, the fertility window, this will give you the information on the best timing of insemination. All right, and when you've inseminated the cow and you've entered it on the mobile app, she comes off the report and you're only left always with the cow's for insemination that haven't yet been inseminated. We can also connect this report to the sort gate, so you don't have to go and find the cows after milking. They can be automatically sorted based on the fertility window, and then you can go and inseminate them. Okay, and just to show what it looks like inside one of the cow's cards, when we go into a cow card, every cow in AfiFarm has a card, an individual card with information on the cow, general information, information on events, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But I just want to show you what it looks like, and this is what it looks like with a cow that's in heat. This is her normal behavior. When a cow is in heat, the heat indicator is the heat signs, and when a cow is in heat, the collar also will show there is a decrease in rumination. Because she's in heat, of course, she's not eating enough, and she's not eating at all, so there will be a decrease in rumination. But what we see, the green line, is the eating time. It looks as if there is an increase in eating time. But the eating time parameter is around the jaw movement, the neck movement. And when a cow is in heat, she is jumping and actively moving her neck more. Then it's as if she's eating, but it's an eating movement. It's moving the neck. So this is why we look and we see with a cow in heat, the eating time goes up and the rumination goes down. And if we're talking about rumination and eating time, this is the best time to go into talking about health detection. Okay, so we talked a bit about detecting cows in heat, and now let's go into the health part of the collar and detecting cows that need attention. So on the health report, or on the health section, again, we have the reports, and we call the report for detecting cows that are that need our attention, non-specific health report. And on this report, we have 8 cows. And when we go into this report, we get, again, here we've got the same idea. We have a list on the top of the cows that were detected that were detected with a health problem. And on the bottom, we have a graph. Now, on this report, we have parameters that bring the cows into this report. Just to show you and quickly go over these parameters are based on rumination time and eating time. And all of these parameters, the sensitivity can be defined by the farmer, but you can define the sensitivity and change it. You can give different parameters for milk cows, dry cows, and heifers. And the idea of these reports is the parameters is if it's a combined decrease or deviation in rumination and eating, she comes onto this report. If the decrease is only, or the deviation is only rumination, then she'll also come onto the report. Or if it's only eating decrease, she'll also come onto the report. So there are 3 parameters that bring the cow onto the report. If there's a decrease in eating, if there's a decrease in rumination, and if it's combined, a decrease of rumination and eating together. And this is what it looks like on we call it the health report, the sick animal report. Like I said, on the top, you have the cow number, general information on the cow, her status. It can be a milk cow. If you've got collars on the dry cows, you've got cows in the dry pen and they're in range of the reader, they will also come up onto this report. Because remember, the collars are sending information 24/7 all the time into the software. So even though the dry cows aren't coming to the parlor or they're not seen all day long, the collars are monitoring their health. And if there is a problem with a dry cow, or if there is a milk cow or even a heifer that has a problem, they will come onto the report and you will see a graph, which you can see here. the purple is the rumination, and the green is the eating deviation. And when they start, the deviation starts going down, the eating and rumination decreases, this is when the cow comes on to this report. So it could be that the deviation or the decrease is only in rumination. She will come onto the report. It could be that it's only eating. The cow will come on to report. But I can say from our experience and from what we see on farms, that when there is a decrease in both parameters, rumination and eating together, we can say with high possibility that this cow has a health problem, and it's worthwhile to go and check her and see how she is. Okay, because just remember, the cows come to the parlor once, twice, 3 times a day. Every farm is different, but the collars are working and are checking the cows all the time. So they will probably detect a change in the rumination and eating even before they come to the milk parlor. Okay, so this is the health report. We write here sick animal report, but I like to say this is the non-specific health report. And again, it's refreshed, updated automatically. And once a cow comes in, she's on the report. And when she returns to her normal behavior and she's back to her normal rumination and eating, she is out of this report. All right, so this report is updated all the time. And again, you'll see the same report on your mobile. This is the specific animal. This is the individual animal health report. And like I said in the beginning, we also have a set of reports that are 2 reports that are related to the group. So if you've got a farm, on your farm, you've got 1 group. So all the cows will be in 1 group. So this will be your group. But if you've got a farm, like on my farm, I've got 5 groups in my farm. Each group is monitored and checked for different, I would say for 2 main, I'll say issues or problems. One we call is group digestion, where we're monitoring the rumination and eating of the group. And one is, like I said in the beginning, group heat stress, where we are monitoring the panting, the breathing of the group. And just to show you an example, this is what we call group digestion reports. So on top we have the group. On this farm, he's got 1 group. So this is the group and the time and how long have they been ruminating and eating. And here we have a graph showing the eating time and rumination time. This is a screenshot from a farm, from a grazing farm. How do we know this farm is a grazing farm? Because usually, in most cases, when cows are grazing, eating time will be higher than rumination time. Where, for example, in Israel, in my farm, the cows are inside TMR, rumination time will be higher than eating time. But what we want to monitor, or what we want to see, that if there is a change in these parameters on a group level, then if there's a decrease in rumination time or a change in eating time, you might think of moving the cows to a different pasture. If you've given them silage and you need to do some changes with the dry matter, this is where you'll see it on the rumination, on the digestion report with rumination and eating. The last report that we'll talk about is what we call the group heat stress report. And here we have the hourly information also on rumination and eating, where rumination hourly is the purple and the green is eating. And it's a bit hard to see, but I'll show you in a minute. On the back, there is a light pink color, which we call panting indicator. Now, if the cows are not in heat stress, and I know in UK and Ireland, heat stress isn't a big issue, but there are days that there is high temperatures and cows are suffering from heat. So once they come to the parlor, we might consider of cooling them down. But knowing they are suffering, okay, here with the collars, we will give you and alert you when they are in a heat stress. And this is what it looks like. If I take off the rumination and eating from the graph, this is exactly what it looks like. And this is what it looks like, a farm in Israel. Okay, this is from, I think it was from last year, or yeah, something like that. This is a farm where there was heat stress on the farm. The cows were suffering from heat stress, and the farmer took the cows to be cooled down, and then cows cooled down and the panting decreased. And again, when it started up, the farmer takes the cows to showers. In Israel, we take them to the waiting area. We cool them with intensive cooling, with fans and water, and then they return back and they eat and they ruminate. And you will see a nice pattern that when the cows aren't suffering from heat stress, rumination and eating is high. But when they're suffering from heat stress or they're suffering from panting, then there will be a decrease in rumination and eating because they aren't, because they're suffering from heat stress. So that was just like a overview on the software. Now I just want to take you for a few minutes into a demo farm, a farm that we have with AfiFarm, and to show you what it looks like. So just a second, please. Can you see it? Yeah, okay, so this is a farm. This is one of our farms that has AfiCollar. This is a farm with AfiFarm. And like I said to you, and I explained, we have our sections with fertility, health, to do today. And behind every part and section, there is a list. So for example, to dry today, he's got 2 cows. When we enter, you get a list of your 2 cows for drying, and we can sort these cows, and the farmers know that these cows are for drying. Okay, and here we've got the dashboard. On the left side, we have shortcuts. Here we can personalize shortcuts, and you can put in your own reports, and you can put in your own analyzing reports, and we can have them located in a shortcut. And here we have the sections that we talked about in the presentation. So if I go into the animals for insemination report is being refreshed. We are checking again that information that comes into the report is the most updated information. And these are the 2 cows now on this farm for insemination or were detected in heat. One cow is cow number 116. This is her fertility window, and she is now positioned in the bullseye in the middle of the purple, and this will be the best time to go and inseminate her. The second cow is, you can see here, moderate consumption rate. She has already passed the purple area. I mean, she's still good for inseminating. Okay, but we call this moderate because there's more than 8 hours that have passed from the bullseye and she can still be inseminated. All right, so every cow, like I said, when she comes onto the report, we show individually each cow, her fertility window, and now when you've opened up the report, this is the best timing for insemination. If I go back to the main dashboard, like we spoke about the non-specific health report, and again, I'll open this up, and here we have a list of 9 cows that were detected on this farm with a health problem. They had a decrease in rumination, a decrease in eating, or a decrease in both parameters, and they came on to this report. Okay, so we can see this is the last 3 days. Here, the cow had normal behavior, and in the last 2-3 days, there has been a severe decrease in her rumination and eating, and she needs to be checked. In addition to the showing the information, every cow, like I said, has a cow card. And if we go into the cow card, I hope you can see, but we have an event, an automatic event that we attach to a cow's card and showing when she entered the report, what was the time she entered the report. So farmers can always see that there was an automatic event also, not only showing the cow on the graph, but also making sure that it's also in her card, that we know that she was on this report. And every, I would say every event on the dashboard, if it's for insemination, if it's a health problem, automatically there will be an event entered into the cow's card. Okay, so this is the animal's non-specific health report, and every time we open it, it refreshes, and all the time it's updated. And like I said, also on your mobile and also on the software. An example for group digestion. This is an example on this farm. Okay, this farm is a TMR farm. The cows are inside. How do we know the cows are inside? Because we can see the rumination time here. Just put this up here so we can see. You can see the daily rumination time on this farm is the purple line. Eating time is lower than rumination. This is when it's a farm with cows that are in barn. This is the scenario that we'll see on the farm. This is a demo of a farm in Germany that was taken in the winter. So if I open up the group heat stress report, here you won't see any heat stress, okay? This was in winter. We see the hourly information on rumination and eating, but if I just take it off, just to show you, it's hard to see, but here on the bottom, this is the panting, and because this is here, this was taken in January, this is a demo from January, you can see it's hard to see, but here is the panting, and it's very low because the cows aren't in any heat stress. Okay, so this is the dashboard, this is the software. Okay, like I explained, you've got the animals inventory. Okay, 2 tabs. You've got for heifers. Okay, he hasn't got any heifers on the farm now, and you've got the cows. And if you want to see a list of the cows that are open, then automatically you'll receive a list. And like I said in the beginning, AfiFarm is cow monitoring, but it's more than that. It's a herd management software. We have analyzing reports. We have reports that we can define and design that you would like. And it's used also for vet events, drug management, different other aspects of farm management. We can also do in the AfiFarm software. So to go back to our presentation, this was my short part on the software and on the AfiFarm. And please, if you've got any questions, and we will answer them. And this is the time to ask questions. And I pass this over to my dear colleague Danny O'Connor, who will take all your questions. You're on, Danny, mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Yoni. First question is, when the cows return to the milking parlour from pasture, how quickly will the data be downloaded from the collars to the reader? Maybe Jason can take that one, or Yoni?
Obviously, it all depends on how many cows and how long they've been away for, because the more data that's on the collars, the more time it's going to take to download. But what we expect for every 100 cows is a 5 to 7 minute time frame.
Thanks, Jason. It's also important to mention that the cows don't actually have to be in the parlour for the information to be downloaded. As long as the collars come in range of the reader, the information starts to get downloaded immediately.
Exactly.
Next question is, let's find it here.
I've got a question that was asked to me by Lucy. Okay, will this work with Uniform Agri? Okay, the AfiFarm, first of all, I will say AfiFarm has a full integration with several of third-party softwares. One of them is Uniform Agri, Dairycom, and different other softwares. So if you've got Uniform Agri on the farm, Lucy, and you're entering all your data into Uniform Agri. Where Uniform Agri will send everything, the events that you put into Uniform Agri will be entered into AfiFarm. Okay, right, Jason?
Yeah, it's a two-way link with Uniform Agri. So yeah, it's
okay. Yes, Danny. Sorry, just came across my.
Yeah, it's this question also came up already as well. Another question: can you automatically draft through the app on the phone or through the computer?
You can draft a cow through the app on the phone, through set reports, through the computer. There are many ways and options for sorting a cow. So if you see a cow in the barn and you want to sort her, you go into the app. There is an option in the app to sort the cow straight away from the app and send it to the sort gate. Or, for example, like I said, if you've got cows that come onto the sick report, on the non-specific health report, and you want automatically any cow that comes onto that report to be sorted in the next milking, then we allocate a code to that report and automatically the cows will be sorted from the non-specific health report. The same idea with the animals for insemination. We will sort the cows automatically from this report. Or I think, Danny, we gave today an example also of hoof trimming. Okay, so if you've got cows for hoof trimming, we can arrange a list of cows for hoof trimming, automatically allocate a code, and all the cows will be sorted. You can even schedule it for next week or next day, and you can we can decide that all cows with this code will be sorted on Wednesday morning when the hoof trimmer comes on farm.
Thank you, Yoni. The next one is AfiFarm cloud-based?
Yes. Okay, AfiFarm is also cloud-based, but the AfiFarm is also the information, your data is on your computer. AfiFarm isn't a software that is based only in the cloud. All your information is stored on the computer and it's backed up into the cloud. Okay, but there are companies that have the data which is only in the cloud. So all your information is in the cloud. With AfiFarm, your data is saved on your computer. It's backed up in the cloud for analyzing for other AfiCloud that we using for analyzing. But your data is kept in your computer on your farm. And even if your internet is down, or you don't have internet on the farm, okay, you can still have AfiFarm and AfiCollar, because it's not only, it doesn't need the internet for showing and analyzing and detecting cows. It can also be offline and it can also be used online.
Okay, thank you, Yoni.
Or if Jason wants to add anything to that on the technical part.
No, I think you covered that pretty well, Yoni. Basically, the cow data, the initial raw data, is always the farmer's owned on his PC, and the cloud is simply taking the data from the server PC on farm. So, as Yoni said, the data will always be yours as the farmer. It's never owned by a cloud-based company.
That's actually the next question. Who owns the data of the cows and of the farm?
I'm very good at predicting questions, aren't I?
Yeah. So the farmer owns the data. It's his data, it's his cows, it's his information. Yeah.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
The next question is, what is the range of the reader?
Okay, so the official range is we will guarantee 200 meters line of sight from the reader itself. You can get better coverage, shall we say, than that. However, we'll only guarantee 200 meters line of sight from the reader. Okay.
As it's a herd management system that goes with the AfiCollar, can you enter vet and medicine events?
In AfiFarm, you can enter medicine events. You can enter drug events. Okay. I will say that any event that you want to enter, for example, if your cows they were detected sick and you want to enter that she had mastitis, you want to enter that she had a treatment with antibiotics, this can be entered into AfiFarm, because like I said in the beginning and throughout the presentation, AfiFarm is a herd management software. Okay, so events, you can enter events into AfiFarm with drugs, with different treatment of if it's a hoof trimming or if it's a sick cow that needs any kind of treatment. And you can even enter your own events, personalize your events and enter your own antibiotics into the software.
Okay, very good. Next question is, how many users can use the app? Can a farmer give access to the head manager or the milker, for example?
There is an unlimited number of users that can use the app. The mobile app is owned by the farm manager or the farm owner, and the farm owner decides who he wants to give the app. Okay, and on the Afi2Go Prime, you can design and define what each user can see or what each user can use on the mobile app. But the number of people or the number of users on the mobile app is totally decided by the farm manager, and there is no limit of numbers on the mobile app.
Okay, last couple of questions, Yoni. What effect on conception rates do the different shades on the bullseye represent?
Again, sorry, Danny.
So what effect on conception rates do the different shades on the bullseye represent?
On the bullseye, like I said, the bullseye is the fertility window is divided up into three. You've got the middle of the bullseye, which is high consumption rate, moderate consumption rate, and low consumption rate. Now, as we all know, as farmers, we know that not everything only depends on the timing of insemination. Of course, it depends on the semen, it depends on the cow, it depends on the weather, it depends on the mood of the inseminator. So there is a lot of other changes that could be on the farm, but based on our knowledge and based on we've got quite a lot of farms out with the AfiCollar. When a farmer uses the fertility window for inseminating, and especially, for example, when it's sex semen, and when the cows are inseminated based on the fertility window, we will see a higher consumption rate with cows with farms that use the fertility window, okay? Because we are, based on our knowledge and based on a lot of years of research, we are giving this recommendation, which helps farmers to get higher consumption rate.
Thank you, Yoni. Question here, is rumination and eating used in the heat algorithm?
Rumination and eating, I'll say this, rumination and eating is not used. I mean, rumination and eating is part of the algorithm, okay? Because, for example, like I showed you, cows that are in heat, some of the cows will have a decrease of rumination and some cows won't have a decrease of rumination. So we do use it in some way of part of the algorithm, but the main algorithm is based on the changes in the cow's behavior. And I will even say cows that have silent heats, okay? A cow that has a silent heat and we don't see any change in her behavior, the collar, because of the sensitivity, when it's positioned on the neck, even though there wasn't a change in rumination and eating, and we didn't see any big change, these cows will show up on the animals for insemination report because the algorithm also takes in account different other changes in the cow's behavior, activity. So altogether, this brings in what we call the heat indicator.
This is a question, I'll change the wording a little bit. Basically, what he wants to know is how far apart can two readers work with each other? Let's say you've got heifers on a neighbouring farm. How far can that operate from the existing reader? Jason, I think you can take that one.
So are you asking how close can two readers operate simultaneously? Yeah. So they can work right next door to each other. In each reader, there are two antennas that are talking to the collars at the same time. So when you double up on your readers, you essentially have 4 antennas that are able to talk to the collars at the same time, so it speeds up the reading time. In terms of neighboring farms using collars, with the 5.5 software, the collars would be licensed to your farm. So only when you assign a collar to the cow and that is read on your farm, does it get registered. So therefore the neighboring farm won't be able to take the data off that collar. It refuses to give the data over because it hasn't been registered.
Okay, so on an outside farm, what is the furthest distance they can have heifers reading?
Okay, so if you're wanting to connect to a out, we'll say an out farm for heifer reasons and stuff like that, we can connect using a Wi-Fi bridge. In the market, the furthest distance line of sight that you can go with a Wi-Fi point-to-point would be 20 kilometers. If you haven't got a point-to-point in that case, or a line of sight, you can create a VPN network, which is a virtual private network. We've got 2 or 3 sites running in the UK and several around Europe, whereby you use the internet connection to join the farms up and work in that manner.
Okay, guys, that's the questions for this evening.
Thanks a lot, Danny.
If you need to contact Stevie or myself, you have the numbers and the emails on the screen right now.
Yes,
and if you want to discuss other products in Afi Farm or Afi Milk, just please give us a call and we'd be delighted to help you. Next slide, Yoni. Just I suppose
just to summarize.
Yeah.
You know what we said. Okay, is that sorry.
Next slide. Yeah.
Okay, to summarize what we talked about, so we discussed a bit. We discussed a bit about the collar. We discussed about the features and benefits on the importance of timing of insemination, the using of rumination and eating parameters for detecting sick cows in heat stress. We had a quick look also at the mobile app and all the information coming into the software, into the AfiFarm software, where you will be able to see everything on your mobile and on the ABC dashboard. And like we said in the big towards the end and also during the presentation, AfiFarm is also a herd management software. All right, it's not just cow monitoring and giving you information from the collar, but it will help you also in managing your farms, giving you reports. You can design your own reports, analyzing your farm and giving you the most accurate and best information that we can show and present to you on the software.
I just got 2 more questions, Yoni, and I think they're really good questions to ask.
Yeah.
We have a full wood sorting gate. Is it possible to sort cows on the collars and EID tags? So can we use the EID as identification other than the collar?
Yes, we can use the half duplex tags that Fullwood used to control it. However, you will need to put our hardware in place on the sort gate in order for AfiFarm to talk to the gate directly.
Yeah, and actually that is the last question. Can we connect to any sort gate, and what is the hardware and the software connection we've got to do?
Yes, so we have our own sort controller. We're not a company that's interested in steelwork, shall we say. So we have a controller that operates the gate. So you have your photo cells and the antenna in place that talks directly to AfiFarm, and then AfiFarm talks to the sort controller in terms of making the decisions to left, right, or straight forwards.
Okay.
Hey. Well, we got through an hour, I think
Yoni has heat stress after that.
No, no, I just, again, and I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us. Really, I mean, I know you've all been through a long day and you sit here and listen to all of us. And again, any more questions or you want to find out anything, please feel free to contact Steve or Danny. Okay, and they will contact you. And like we said in the beginning, this session has been recorded, and we will share with you the recording, so you can look at my pretty face even after this recording. Okay, so thank you all very much, and have a peaceful night and good night, and hope to see everyone soon. Thank you.